Hey there, this is Crossroads, PlayStation podcast for Boss Rush Games. I am LeRon Dawkins, and of course, our typo queen, Nellie Lott, is here pressing that share button with us tonight. What's up, what's up?
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated.
That is massive.
Yeah, right? How many of those does it take to get your daily allotment of? Are you one of those gallon and a half drinkers a day?
This holds 8 cups.
Holds 8 cups? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 whole rounds of that gets you what you need then, right?
Yep.
All right. Wait, 8 cups in that? Show me that thing again. See, for you guys that check out the audio recording of the podcast every week, like, you guys are missing out. You guys are missing out.
Yeah, that goes like cups, but sure.
All right. So Austin will be returning soon, but don't worry, because we have a couple of contributors from the Boss Rush Network that are ready to talk all things PlayStation and gaming. So get ready, because for you elite block agents, you guys might be all too familiar with this guy. He is known as the Indie Insider of the Nintendo PAL Block series. Welcome back, Dan Murphy.
Hey, glad to be back. I think Stephanie knows a little bit more about indies than me, and stay hydrated.
I don't know. That's more like stay thirsty, my friends. That's what you had there.
Yeah, again, for the audio listeners, Dan held up a beer. I salute you.
And we are humbled to have one of the all-stars of the Boss Rush writing team back with us for another episode. She's one of my favorite people from the Boss Rush writing team, and she's also a superstar here. You've heard the name before many a times. Welcome back, Stephanie Klimov.
Thank you. I thoroughly enjoy making man babies cry.
Oh, same here. You know, we need to collaborate. And just team up on like a super article. Hey, maybe tonight's big topic might be something that'll piss a whole bunch of people off. Like, I mean, dude bros love our mentions.
Bring it.
All right, so I know it's only a Tuesday, but how's everybody's week been so far?
Feels like Friday. It's been long.
feels like Friday. Are you kidding me?
Well,
no.
Feels like it's been that long.
Okay. Oh man, like, it's only Tuesday, man. Like, you're gonna be dead when Friday hits.
I know. I was up working at 4 a.m. and finished at like 7:30 today. Back at it tomorrow.
Oof,
Okay.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Get that hustle on, though, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Stephanie, how's your week been so far?
Oh
No.
So great. This has been the highlight of my week so far. That's how bad it is. I won't air my dirty laundry on the podcast, but a lot of personal relationship and work stuff just all in one huge shitstorm. So can only get better, right?
Yeah, the only way is up. Nellie, be that beacon of hope, because I don't think I can pull us out. Not how my Monday went.
I had a frustrating weekend.
There goes that beacon of hope.
I was about to say.
We're going to be angry in this main topic today, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Episode 48 of Crossroads, the PlateStation podcast, where misery loves company. You know what? So let's just go ahead and get right into it. This is Crossroads, the PlayStation podcast for Boss Rush Games. Wow, I just screwed that completely up, didn't I? Like, that's how bad my week is going. So let's try this again.
We are good.
Yeah.
Pre-recording. Save yourself the hassle.
You know what? I might just do a splicing of that. You know what? Because I kind of did it on last week's show, and you know what? No one even noticed that there was a splice. So you know what?
Do it.
So you know what? Here's the housekeeping. This is Crossroads, the PlayStation podcast of Boss Rush Games. Every week we come together bringing you the latest news, rumors, games, and general discussion in the world of PlayStation. Crossroads airs live on twitch.tv/Exodus803 Tuesday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can't join us during the live show, Crossroads can be found on Apple Podcasts as well as Spotify and other podcast locations. If you like the show, please consider subscribing to the podcast or giving us a follow on Twitch. Either or do both. We love you we love you however you decide to do it. You can also see the recap of tonight's show the following Wednesday night at 7 p.m. on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/exodus803, or early Thursday mornings at youtube.com/bossrush.network. If you want to see previous episodes of our show, all episodes of Crossroads can be found on our parent website, bossrush.net. Note the name, that is new, bossrush.net. While you're at the website, don't forget to check out our growing family of podcast shows. And remember to share, rate, and review us wherever you check out our shows. And one final note, you can chat with us and keep the conversation going over at our Twitter page, which is at @PS_Crossroads, where we hold it down with more news, events, and topics. There we go. I like that. That's much better. Nice.
Good work.
All right, everybody. What have we been playing this week in video games?
Guess first.
Yes, guess first. Dan, Stephanie, you want to rock, paper, scissors for that?
I'll defer to Stephanie. Ladies first.
Oh, thanks. It's been frustrating. I haven't had much time to game. I am not even as far along in Skyward Sword that I wanted to be. I think I heard not too long ago that Lasby collected all of his gratitude crystals. I'm like, I'm at the second temple. Hold
on.
Gree. Huh?
Hold on a second. Lasby is like the Zelda maniac. Like, I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's not one of the people who beat it in 3 days when the game came out.
I hold a little bit of Zelda clout. I was on a Zelda trivia show when I was out in the Midwest in Chicago, and I did win that. So for another Zelda podcast.
Okay.
But
All right.
but no. If I'm not gonna I'm definitely not gonna compare myself to David though. He is like king of Zelda. So
he's something else.
But I've been trying to dig through that, and I'm playing through Gree. I want to see if I can make it on the Talk the Walk that Ed and Celeste are going to do for that.
Oh yeah.
On my PlayStation, yep, I'm playing Night in the Woods. I'm still playing that. It's gotten to the point where the pacing's taken so long, I just want to stop playing. But I'm not like that. I really want to finish my games. Yeah, because I want to start Ghost of Tsushima because I bought it, I have it downloaded.
Hell yeah,
good game.
Hell yeah.
Yep, I'm just chomping at the bits, but part of my OCD is I need to finish a night in the woods.
I'm the same way.
All right. Anything else?
I do follow another podcast where they go through Hitman 2. And I've been playing along with them to see who gets the highest score. So I'm on the last mission for Hitman 2, and I rage quit that because I kept getting caught. So.
Oh.
I love games, but I'm not great at them. That's the problem.
Hey! You know what? You don't have to be good to be considered a gamer. I say that as someone who never can win anything when it comes to fighting games.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I've been trying to split my time 50-50. I think the key is if I have my son that night, I play my Switch because it's handheld and he doesn't notice I'm playing games. Because if I'm playing PlayStation, he'll hear and see everything and he'll want to watch me play. And sometimes the games I play aren't meant for children. So.
Right. Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah. So that's what I've been playing. Dan, how about you?
Well, I have an unhealthy addiction to Picross, if you haven't known. But they just came out with the Sega Master System Picross on Thursday or Friday, and I've been playing so much of that. It's really fun because I've played through Picross S through S6, and it's finally fun when you finish a puzzle to actually recognize something and have it not be bowl of fruit or lamp. So that's been pretty funny. The music is still horrible, but that's just Picross. And when I get time to actually play a game, I've really just been exclusively playing Monster Hunter Stories 2, which we talked about before the show. It's just such a fun game, and it's like it's pretty much everything I want in a JRPG. So I'm having a blast with that game. But that's it for me.
I'm glad.
The way.
Oh, go ahead.
Good. Sorry.
No.
I was
Go,
just saying,
go
the
ahead.
way everyone's talking up stories, it's like, and I have nothing against Monster Hunter. I've just never gotten into the franchise. I'm like, I don't know. This might be the game that sucks me in.
It's a time commitment, though. That's the one drawback. I mean, I've been playing it exclusively since the day it came out, and I'm not quite close to the end yet. But I also am a person who gets super sidetracked and I mean, when I get to the final boss, I'm gonna beat it in one turn because that's just how I play these kind of games.
Man, we're not going to talk about super sidetrack Monster Hunter Stories because every time I see a Monster's Den, even when I know it's a common ass Monster's Den, I'm in there and I'm going after the egg. It
I've
does
been
not
doing the same thing just for the genes, and it's it's so
Yeah.
stupid. I waste an hour and a half doing that, and then I don't even get the stuff I want.
Exactly.
What about you, Nellie?
Let's see. I am going to be starting Detroit Become Human yet again. I'm going to try to save everybody this time.
Yeah. Wait. How many times have you played the game?
This is going to be my second run.
Okay. And in your first run, who lived and who died?
Everybody died except Marcus.
What? Oh my. Oh my.
How'd you pull that off?
Wait, I'm confused because Connor gets so many do-overs.
Exactly. I thought I did it wrong the first time. I had completed one mission, and it was it cut back to the scene with Hank and Connor being confronted in the office, and he was like, "Oh, we're sending Connor back to Cyberlife," and I was like, "Wait, what?"
Wait, do they decommission him?
Yeah.
Whoa, I did not know that was even possible in that game.
Oh. I've read there's 85 endings to that game.
Oh yeah. David Cage doesn't play around with his games.
I want to know how many are in Heavy Rain because I want to play that too. I have that.
Such a good game.
I do not remember, but Heavy Rain was definitely a stressful game when I played it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I probably need to do some more research, but I feel like Detroit Become Human has a lot more potential endings than Heavy Rain does. I'm not knocking on Heavy Rain, but
yeah,
I think he stepped it up.
Yeah, I think with Detroit Become Human, he finally realized everything he's capable of doing with that type of, because I love those type of games where they're basically storyboard games. I love them though.
Yes.
They're storyboard games / choose your own adventure and all that stuff, and I freaking love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nelly, you gotta make me go back and play Detroit now. Shoot.
Oh, I'm gonna start. I'm waiting for this podcast to be over. As much as I love y'all.
Are you streaming? If you're streaming, I'll tune in.
I was thinking about streaming it.
Ooh.
I really was.
Well, make sure in the plugs you let people know where to find your stream at. Anything else that's been going on in your video game systems?
Of course, I've been playing State of Decay 2.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of beat it, but it's really no ending to that game. So
yeah,
I'm trying to 100% achieve that game, to be honest. And I want to start playing Deus Ex again because the 10th anniversary is coming up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one of the best cyberpunk games I've played.
Too bad we'll never see the ending of the trilogy.
Right.
Yeah.
And I have Mankind Divided. It's in Chicago, but I have it.
Yeah. You know what? As much as I love cyberpunk games, I never finished. I played both of the games, so I never finished either one of them. So I know I'm doing myself a disservice by not finishing those games. But after hearing that the trilogy is no longer going to happen, it's like, do I really need to play?
I like Human Revolution better than Mankind Divided so far, but again, I left my copy of Mankind Divided in Chicago. So
okay. Anything else?
That's it.
Other than that, that's it. Well, like I kind of teased earlier, I was playing games that were not Monster Hunter related this this past week. Didn't play very many, but this weekend I spent a good couple of hours playing for the very first time Among Us.
Oh wow!
Oh, I want to play that.
And let me
Wait,
just
why didn't you throw any of us a bone? You gonna play Among Us without us?
because I was playing with another group of people. Like I kind of got sucked in.
It's getting worse.
Like oh
Like
here
I
look,
said.
look here was the preface. I was going to hang out with a friend, and he was like, "Hey, bring your Switch." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Oh, it's game night on a video game system." Okay, bring my Switch. Okay, and then it was like, "Do you have Among Us?" I was like, "No, I've never even played the game, but I know about the game." And do you want to get that game? I was like, "Sure." How much is it? I'm starting thinking, I need to run out to like Best Buy, buy a game card and stuff, because lately I haven't really been. Okay, so the $80 that I won in the in the writing contest for Boss Rush, I've had that set aside. I'm not trying to mess with that at all until Metroid is close to being out and stuff. So I was like, I'm just gonna run out to Best Buy and buy a card. And then my friend was like, no, it's only $5. I'm like, only $5? I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have at least 1,000 Nintendo coins to pay for that. And sure enough, that's how I got it. So I didn't spend a single dime for it. But and yeah, first time playing it, we were on there for a couple of hours, and oh my god, that game is fun. Uh, it gives me such an alien vibe, with where you're looking for the imposter. The imposter is hiding among you and stuff like that. But the difference is in plain sight, and it's hilarious. Like I think I got murdered like 3 times, and let me tell you, some of those kill scenes are crazy. Like,
When they like stick their tongue through you?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
because
like the best in that game.
yeah, that there was that one. I got knifed. I got shanked a few times. That was funny. But yeah, I had a blast. So hopefully the next game night we'll be playing it again, because I really enjoyed that. That was fun. And
So my favorite part of the story is that you just cannot get away, no matter how hard you try. You just can't get away from Nintendo people. They are always going to consume your life.
exactly, and that's exactly. You know what though? As long as I'm having fun doing it, it's all good. It is all good.
We're going to haunt you forever, LeRon.
Yeah, yeah. Just send me good games. Send me a Metroid every once in a while. We'll be all right. We will be all right. All right. So that's everything. That's everything that I've been playing. That's everything these guys have been playing. So let's move on to our next topic, because the next topic is always one of our favorite topics for the evening. That is, what's on your PlateStation. And for tonight's edition of What's on Your PlateStation, as you guys may have noticed, the format has changed just a little bit. I think we're having fun. Are we having fun with this segment now, Nelly?
Yes.
Cool. Because
One of the best.
because tonight's version of PlateStation is called the Wing Night Edition, and we're basically throwing down. Are you a bone in or boneless wings person? So here we go. Wings can be fried, grilled, smoked, baked, tossed in an infinite number of sauces, rubs, and glazes. But at the end of the day, all wings can be boiled down into 2 categories: traditional or boneless. When it comes to chicken wings, are you more a bone-in person or a boneless person? All right, so this is how it's going to go. We just go across the table, and we tell each other what's up. So Stephanie, when it comes to your wings, traditional or boneless?
oh. I kind of want to provide a diplomatic answer, because if you ask me which one had the best flavor, obviously bone in. Like, I've just had some of the best tasting bone in wings, just prepared every single way. But if it's just me by myself on an island and I just had a preference, it would be boneless. It's almost kind of an embarrassment for me to say that, but it's just, I'm so lazy. I just want to have just that hunk of meat there with my hot sauce. And that's it. Like, I'm very simple and easy like that. But like I said, I know the quality lies in bone-in. I love dry rubs. Like, that's a way to go for that. But yeah, so I can't really get away with this easy answer.
It's okay. It's okay. Dan, traditional or boneless?
Sorry, Stephanie, but the only answer is in the regular wings. Otherwise, they're chicken nuggets.
Thank you. I was hoping somebody was going to say that.
I mean, there's just so many good ways to prepare a wing, right? Like you can double fry them, you can twice bake, like you can just do so much. You can do rubs, everything. Like no brainer. It's bone in.
I give them credit. I give them credit. It is like the higher quality, the better version of the two for sure.
You did have a very diplomatic answer, but
that is true.
I'm good with that.
That is true. I mean, can't falter for that.
Being on podcasts, you got to learn how to just have strong opinions, and everybody else is wrong.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna take some notes here.
By the way, because Stephanie, I know last time you were on, you had a blast and everything. We didn't lay down the house rules on Crossroads. We have this policy. It's called "Fuck your feelings, let's talk."
That's awesome.
All right, Nellie, your turn. Traditional or boneless?
No, I need bone. That's the only way to eat it. Because I actually, this is weird. I like chewing on the gristle. I would strip a piece of chicken with no problem. So, boneless is not good for me.
You know what? Okay. Now that you've gone there, I need to ask you: are you a drumettes or a flats?
Drums.
Okay.
Drums.
Yes. Dan, you're also a drum.
All the way, drums all the way.
Stephanie, when you decide to throw down on boneless wings, are you the drumettes or the flats?
Drums for sure.
All right. It looks like we're gonna have unanimous here on that one. Unfortunately, though, Stephanie, you're outnumbered. Though I am also more about a traditional wing. Like you got to have the bones in them. It's just
that's an argument I'm totally okay to lose.
Because
here's a trivia question. Do you know what part of the chicken the wings are?
I know what part of the chicken?
Yeah, what part of the chicken the wings are.
The actual wings?
Well, like that you're eating. When you order chicken wings at a restaurant, what part of the chicken is it?
It's part of the breast meat, if I'm not mistaken.
It's the arms, isn't it?
It's the wings.
Yeah,
oh my God!
Oh wow!
Go home. Go. How much have you had to drink?
Get out.
Right, leave.
You have no idea how many people get that wrong.
Wait. What answers have you heard? I mean, please tell me.
Like, oh, isn't it the leg or isn't it like?
Wow, come on! When have we ever seen chickens walk on their wings?
Wow,
that'll be a bizarre sight.
Okay, so wrapping up this topic, when it comes to your wings, tell me what type of dipping sauces and sides do you like to have when you're doing a wing night somewhere, like out at a restaurant or whatnot? I don't care who goes first. Just hit me with an answer.
Either honey mustard or barbecue sauce.
Okay. Any sides?
Mac and cheese.
Okay. Oh, that's a good answer.
That's a good answer. Yeah.
Certain things go with certain foods. That's all.
True that.
Steak and baked potato. I mean, okay, let me stop. Go ahead.
I would say buffalo sauce, just traditional buffalo sauce, and I kind of like me some sweet potato fries.
Nice. Okay. Dan?
I go with rubs. No sauce for me.
Okay.
If I do sauce, it's going to be buffalo. And then I got to have fries with it. Waffle fries, sweet potato fries, whatever fries. Just give me some fries with my wings.
I hear that. Normally, no matter when I go get wings, I'm usually getting garlic parm.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know a lot of places go back and forth. They have like an actual saucy garlic parm, or they have a rub garlic parm. It doesn't matter. Like it's all delicious for me as far as I'm concerned. And usually my side is also fries, but I kind of want cheesy fries, when I have wings. So like basically it's like having mac and cheese, except you're just taking the starch to a whole new level with that.
I was gonna say you get the best of both worlds there.
Oh yeah. And I'm an undercover fatty, so that's how I roll. Well, I will say this was a good topic. As usual, like I said, I love the new format. I think the format's fun, and hopefully we always have some good versus topics to go with our what's on your PlayStation. But that's pretty much that topic for this evening. So I guess without further ado, it's time to break into tonight's news and events for the week. So let's get this started. Why don't we?
Yes.
Okay. Huh?
About to say I'm joining Dan. Cheers.
Cheers, Nelly.
Oh,
is that Bud Lime? Is that Bud Lime?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Hey, when in Florida,
have an
right?
Extra sip for me.
Yes.
There you go.
I got you.
All right, let's get this started. We got a bunch of news topics heading your way tonight. So let's get ready for this. All right, first up tonight, Sony says it secured enough components to hit the 22 million PlayStation 5 sales goal. All right, this is a big deal because they've been trotting this number for a while, and it looks like now there's actually going to be some truth to it. Speaking during a web call on Thursday, which was transcribed by Video Games Chronicle. By the way, this article the source of this article is Andy Robinson at videogameschronicle.com. Chief Financial Officer Hiroki Totoki. I like how that just rhymes. Or I might have been mispronouncing it. It might have been Totaki. Well, who knows? But CFO of Sony claimed that Sony has secured enough semiconductors, which had been having a major supply shortage during the pandemic. They've secured enough to achieve its fiscal year target of selling 14.8 million PS5 units. In a statement, he said, for PlayStation 5, the target has been set for the number of units to be sold this year, and we have secured the number of chips that are necessary to achieve that. Regarding the supply of semiconductors, we are not concerned. Wow, I just love how bold he was when he said that. We are not concerned.
Yeah, it's bold.
Currently, the PlayStation 5 console remains hard to find 9 months after its launch since last November, with each new batch of systems selling out almost instantly. Good news though, like it's not always going to the scalpers now. Like it's actual legit people that are just really jumping on them. But sometimes it's just like a really small demand per retail outlet that you go to. Not small demand, but small quantity. So just stick with it. Just stick with it. You'll get your PlayStation. It's coming. While it is unlikely that Sony's news will change anything in the short term, the hope is that by securing these semiconductors, it'll eventually be able to provide enough supply to meet the overall demand. Sony has said it hopes PS5 shipments in its fiscal year 2021, which runs from April 2021 to March 2022, will surpass the 14.8 million PS4s that shipped during the same stage of the console lifecycle in Sony's fiscal year 2014. Remember, we said a few weeks back on Crossroads that the PS5 is currently Sony's fastest selling console to date. So that's amazing. Yes, we can give some of this credit to the scalpers and stuff like that, but user data is showing that legitimate people are actually getting the systems. They're not just sitting in someone's basement somewhere. All right. With that news, though, this will bring the overall total PS5 sales to 22.6 million units if it hits by March 2022. March 2022, my bad. The company recently claimed that PlayStation 5 has become Sony's fastest selling console after topping 10 million sales globally. And remember, like right now, I think it's finally available in Egypt and a couple of the other Arabic nations where the price tag for PlayStation is like what was it like $800 MSRP? I can't remember. We talked about that so long ago.
I can't remember.
We talked about that so long ago. It's crazy. But last piece of news here: the console hit the milestone on July the 18th, which was about 8 months after its launch on November the 12th, 2020. All right, guys, I have a question for you. With everything we're currently seeing from Sony, how hopeful does it actually look that they might make this 2022 goal of over 22 million units? I'm sorry, 22 million units. What do you guys say?
Well, since the scalpers are not getting it, I think they have a good chance at this point.
It's just what changed, right? Like how did it go from having such a difficult time to finding silicon semiconductors, finding engineers to process them, and then all of a sudden they have enough to sell 22 million units, right? Like
I think that'll be over a steady stream of time, though, right?
Yeah, I think that's what they're saying. I think a lot of manufacturing firms for how they're getting the chips and stuff are actually starting to get back up to normal levels of production. Now, that being said, of course, like we've got the Delta variant of COVID happening, so that's that's probably gonna shut down some stuff, stunt a few things and things like that. But I think what they should have said, because Stephanie is right. I think what they should have said is we're now able to produce the number of components that we will need to make the stretch goal by March of next year for that. I think that would have done them a little bit more credit. Good catch, both you guys, for asking that question because it does we need to examine common sense on this stuff sometimes. Like if they're saying on enough components to hit 22 million right now, then why aren't they selling them?
Well,
yeah.
And the thing is too, it's like it's not only like PlayStation, Xbox. Like I mean, you go to a Home Depot and the buzzsaw that they use to cut wood takes a silicone semiconductor. So
exactly.
Like it's not just the gaming world that is looking for these, and it's on backlog everywhere. So yeah. I'm a little skeptical. However, I'm just going to change skeptical to hopeful because I really want a PlayStation 5 and I do not want to sit online for 5 hours trying to get it, clicking refresh.
Well,
well,
aren't you?
I was like, I'm thinking about myself. Like, yeah,
yeah, exactly.
Well, aren't you? Well, aren't you glad you're just?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, aren't you glad you're only waiting for a PlayStation 5? Because I know some people who've been waiting on F-150s and F-250s from Ford, and they're having the hardest time. And these people have already paid for their cars.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like the semiconductor shortage hurt everybody. I'll say that. Go ahead, Stephanie.
Yeah, Oh no, I was just like, I think it's the semantics, the wording. I just, wish that they were a bit more careful with that because I know you guys talked about it in many episodes that gamers can be quite passionate is a more positive word, but also just, I don't know, it's a very volatile fan base, gamers that when they read the headline, they're like, okay, perfect. Maybe by next week, GameStop, Best Buy, and Target will all have it. I see it as Sony probably, worked a deal or spoke with these manufacturers and they kind of like signed some sort of like delivery promise, like, by March of next year, we'll be able to have a certain amount made and reserved for you guys. So I think that numbers wise, it is possible they'll reach that goal, especially since it's fiscal year, not calendar year. So they still have a ways to go. Like I said, I feel like it's going to be over a very slow, steady stream of time. But I just am afraid that, fans will get super hyped and then they might trash talk Sony, say they can't get it for Christmas, so.
Oh, which is apt to happen anyway. I guarantee you there could be a surplus of PlayStation sitting on the shelf and someone's going to be pissed that they can't find one.
Yep.
They're going to be like, Christmas is ruined. I didn't get a PlayStation 5 this year, and Best Buy's going to be like, we got 20 of them sitting on our shelves. Where are you at?
But the thing is, like, it's great to hear that they have confidence in the fact that they can get a hold of the semiconductors like that. So if they didn't have that confidence, I don't think they would have said it. So
very true.
Let's hope for some PlayStations and some normalcy.
You know what? I suck in sales, but the one thing that I've learned from a lot of people who apparently are great in sales or like super successful in sales is that you have to have the belief that you're going to do it. If you wake up today and say you're going to make like $100,000 for the company by the end of the month, and that's what you feel in your head, you're probably going to get pretty damn close to it, as opposed to saying, I don't think I'm going to get it today. And you just don't try and stuff like that. So, like this never say die attitude that, that Sony's had, actually they've had this never say die attitude since the June last year when they announced the PlayStation 5. It's crazy. They're just like, no, like we're doing this. Like, don't discount us. We're doing this.
I've been in sales for 12 years, and you're right. You can't sell something you don't believe in. It just doesn't work.
Yeah. So hey, if Sony wants to be their own hype man, I'm not going to knock them for doing it.
Yeah, and they have every right to hype their own products because the PS5, granted, I don't own one, but just being the fastest selling console for them and their slow but steady, powerful releases that they have, I just feel like they have every right to be, for sure.
Yeah, true. I mean, they're not king of the hill right now in this and I was gonna say console war. This is not a console war, but you know what I mean though. They're not the king of the hill right now as far as like what's going on with this generation and stuff like that. But I mean, they came out the gate swinging. So hey, like anything can happen.
I kind of feel like the current. Sorry, Nellie.
No, I was just saying, set your goals high. Why not?
Yeah.
Manifest it, as they call it nowadays.
All right. Any final thoughts here before we move on?
I say go for it, Sony.
Yeah.
Yes, go for it. Make us proud here. Like Crossroads, we're always your cheerleaders. All right. We're gonna go ahead and move on to our next topic then, which is I like this topic. Like when I read it, I was like, yeah, we're talking about this tonight on the show. So the Medium PS5 DualSense controller features are, for lack of a better word, game changing. That is really like the best we can say on this one. All right, so this comes to us via Rebecca Smith at PlayStationLifestyle.net, and there's also some additional information on PlayStation blog, so check that out. So the Medium, remember that game? That game was coming out on Xbox and PC, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, we're not going to get to play it." Well, guess what? It's coming to PlayStation 5. So it comes out on PlayStation 5 next month. The game's exclusivity contract with Xbox has come to an end. It looks like it was only set. It wasn't even a whole year, actually, if I'm not mistaken, because this wasn't a launch title for Xbox Series X and S. So I mean, whatever. I mean, like I've said before, when more gamers get a chance to play games across different platforms, everybody wins.
Yeah.
All right. When it launches, the third-person psychological horror will come with unique features that make use of the console's DualSense controller characteristics, such as the haptic feedback and adaptive triggers, so that players can feel protagonist Marianne's reactions to the events that happen around her. Mine is already blown because, if I didn't know any better, I would have said this game was actually built on PlayStation hardware, but some type of deal, got it on Microsoft systems first. I don't know though, but let me just keep going with this. In the Medium, Marianne is a medium who uses a variety of psychic abilities to help her explore the abandoned Niwa communist resort and find the reason for her recurring visions of a little girl murdered by a lake. To do so, she'll need to switch between the real world and the spirit world as she confronts a horrifying tragedy that took place there. Haptic feedback will let players feel Marianne's reactions to everything that happens and help players use her skills effectively. When the Spirit Shield ability is activated, the controller will vibrate as if dozens of Spirit World moths hit the barrier. That's freaky. That's freaky.
That'll be cool. That is going to be so cool.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That is that. Meanwhile, the out-of-body ability lets Marianne's spirit explore without the limitations of a physical body. The problem is this state can only be used for a limited time before Marianne suffocates, and the controller will pulsate more rapidly the closer players become to actually kicking the bucket. You know, I was playing the medium. I was playing it on PC because I got early access on Game Pass, and that is one thing that I really like having that tactile feedback for stuff like that. That would have been pretty awesome. Let's put it that way. All right. So the adaptive triggers are meant to make the controls feel more intuitive. For example, the Spirit Blast will need charging, and the trigger will be extremely resistant as the process starts. For anyone who's familiar with the DualSense controllers, like the controllers actually give you some type of resistance or actual pushback when you're trying to do things. An easy game to figure that out on is if you're playing Ratchet and Clank, because my God, like certain weapons need to be primed, and that's one game where you actually get a chance to feel what the DualSense controller is all about. Once the trigger can be fully pressed, the blast of spiritual energy is completely charged and ready to use. The game's touchpad, the game system, it says the game's touchpad here in the write-up, but what they meant to say was the controller's touchpad can be used to manipulate objects and find hidden echoes or traces of past inhabitants. Motion controls can be used to look around locations instead of using the joystick, and players will also hear feedback from the tools that they're using through the controller's speaker, while the lighting around the touchpad replicates her torch. This is amazing. And
that is a lot.
And when you hear about stuff like this, you get a better understanding of why Phil Spencer actually congratulated, Sony on the innovations of this controller. And, I mean, this, like I said, this right here just changed a game that's already was out on the Xbox systems, and now it's coming to PlayStation. And the developers actually took the time and actually put the resources in to actually make this game a unique experience on PlayStation consoles. The medium also includes story-based moments that will be enhanced by the controller's features, but the Bloober team didn't want to spoil these before the game's PS5 release. Pre-orders are available now on the PlayStation Store, and PlayStation Plus members get a 10% discount on that, so check it out. Those who pre-order the medium before its release on September the 3rd will get the digital original soundtrack and the art of the medium digital art book as well.
Nice.
Links for this have been provided in the Twitch live stream chat right now. Definitely go check out the YouTube watch on that, because it's a lot of detail about what you can do with the controller. You will not be disappointed. Before we move on first topic, I need to know: will you guys be picking up the medium for PlayStation 5? I mean, theoretically, if you have a PlayStation.
Oh, I am. I wanted to. Another reason why I wanted to get an Xbox, but now since it's coming to PlayStation, I think I want to feel what the DualSense controller feels like.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Like, I don't have a PS5 either, but once I get one, it's not if, it's when. This is definitely a game that I'll be picking up, because this is what I feel like is going to contribute to the success long term for the PlayStation 5, is releasing games that really showcase what makes this new generation just outstanding. And the fact that all this tech can be worked into the controller completely enhances and renews an experience that it might still be enjoyable on another platform, but it's, I can see some people double dipping. I don't have an Xbox, so I won't be doing that, but for a new customer like myself, I'll probably defer and go towards the PlayStation PS5 version so I can have that experience. That's freaking awesome. And by the way, quick plug, the medium has made it on our Boss Rush bucket list as one of the top 50 games that you must play. Fun fact.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we'll be talking a little bit about the bucket list a little bit later in the show. Okay, so trying to give Dan a little bit of time here. Okay, so I know you guys are excited about these DualSense features for the medium. I'm sorry, but do you think that once the medium is released and other companies see what is possible, that as companies like port their games over, like previously released games over to PS5, do you think they may do what Bloober Team did and do a little bit of legwork and actually add some features in themselves, or do you think they're just going to like just drop the game and just move on?
I would like to see the features used in the game. Like, I want to know what a gun feels like when it's jammed up in the middle of battle.
Play Call of Duty. Play Call of Duty.
Oh, so it does work on Call of Duty.
Black Ops Cold War. If I'm not mistaken, in the campaign mode, it does that.
Okay, I want to see what that feels like.
I don't believe it does it in multiplayer mode. I think campaign mode, because like it's part of just the extra difficulty. I think that's where it happens, but I have heard it happens.
Nice. See, I want to feel that panic. Like, what the hell? Mm-hmm. So
it's not working. It's not working.
Exactly. I'm like, let me call LeRon.
Yeah, I really hope they do more. I totally agree with Nellie. I don't know. I don't know if LeRon, you have any insight on like the level of work or time and money needs to be put into porting a game and adapting the extra features to the DualSense controllers, because I feel like maybe certain smaller titles, maybe because their game mechanic might not really need that as much, or maybe they're on a tight budget. So I'd say probably not every game that gets ported over, but I really think if there's an opportunity, they should really take advantage of it.
Yeah. I also have a funny. Okay, it historically with PlayStation, like normally when Sony has like these innovations, like back with PS3, it was the 6-axis controller and all that stuff. PS4 was the touchpad and the gyro motion stuff, things like that. Sony has tried to encourage developers to like actually like work with it and do it, and like using stuff like that. We know that PlayStation 5 is like I would say that the PS4 was Sony's most ambitious system at that time, but now the PS5 is definitely their most ambitious system, and they're doing a lot to their credit. Like, I mean, like, for example, we had, what was the game? Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. Basically, I'm not sure if what we're getting in the director's cut was actually meant to be a sequel or whatnot, but Sucker Punch detailed a lot of the stuff they did with it, and a lot of it embraces like some of the new features available for the DualSense controller and stuff like that. Now, yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is a PS4 title originally and stuff like that, but the studio was able to go back to the drawing board for a little bit and actually do some stuff on that. So I think it all depends on like the resources available to the companies and stuff like that. Like, I really wish I had an idea of like how long the turnaround time is for stuff like that. But I would really love to see more games as they come out, like utilizing that stuff. Another game that you can test like the tactile response, Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Ooh.
When you're web swinging and stuff like that, you'll actually be able to feel the tension in the triggers as you're from your webs and stuff like that. So like in a situation where you have to grab cars and stuff, you will feel like the pushback from the controller, stuff like that. So that's another one, and that's probably the easier one to find. By the time you guys get a PlayStation anyway.
Oh yeah, doesn't that get the free upgrade?
Yes, it gets a free upgrade. But just remember, no, you're thinking the old school Spider-Man, the Spider-Man before Miles Morales. That one gets the free upgrade, unless you buy the Ultimate Launch Edition.
Okay.
Look at that! Like, you just had it conveniently right there.
I was like, what happened? Panic. Shut it down. Okay.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to our next topic, and let's just get cracking on that. All right, so for our next topic, this is one that kind of slipped through the cracks here over at Boss Rush Network. I'm actually a little surprised because once I saw it, I was like, man, what happened? But here it is. Focus Home Interactive has acquired the dev team responsible for Streets of Rage 4. All right. This news comes to us from PlayStation Lifestyle via Zarmina Khan. The publisher, known as Focus Home Interactive, has announced the acquisition of Streets of Rage 4 developer Dotemu. Under the agreement, Focus Home will hold a 77.5% share of Dotemu capital, with the aim of diversifying its own portfolio. Dotemu has provided support to a number of high-profile titles like Final Fantasy VIII Remastered. Where's your cousin at? Like I just
Exactly.
mentioned Final Fantasy VIII, and I mentioned it in a very good light, and she's not here. Whatever, she missed out. And currently, the company is working on the sequel to 1994's Windjammers, among other projects. The arrival of Dotemu marks a key step in the acceleration of the group's growth and the diversification of its expertise, said Christoph Nobilo, CEO of Focus Home Interactive. By enriching our editorial line, we are opening up a new revenue stream and a new market shares to conquer in a fast-growing sector. What fast growing sector is he talking about? Are we talking about retro games, or I don't think we're talking about indies. I don't think.
That's a little unclear to me, but
yeah. I mean, I'm just reading the quote directly from where it was stated. All right. Nobilo revealed that Focus Home is looking to add more studios to its family to accelerate our development and expand our offer. This is interesting because we talked about this last week. Like, is there an arms race right now going on for publishers and developers to publishers to snatch up development teams and stuff like that? I mean, Sony's been doing it. Of course, Microsoft at a breakneck pace and stuff like that. Didn't Nintendo pick up one or two studios over the past year or so? They didn't become official Nintendo properties, but they're basically, in bed with Nintendo for the long run and stuff like that. Things are happening.
Big thing.
While retaining the editorial and strategic independence that has made it so successful, Dotemu will be able to give even greater ambition to its projects and give itself the means to broaden the range of services offered to studios in order to guarantee success of productions on the retro label as well as on the publishing label, the Arcade Crew, which was added by Cyril Imbert, the CEO of Dotemu. We share the same passion for video games, the same desire to improve, as well as the same values of respect and benevolence towards our partners and teams. I'm sorry, I got tongue twisted there. Streets of Rage 4 released to positive reviews from critics and fans. It currently holds a rating of 82 out of 100 for the PS4 on Metacritic. Streets of Rage 4 is an awesome game. Definitely, they just dropped DLC, which is I think it was like $10. So if you love old school beat 'em up games like that, go get it. It's fun. I have double dipped on it. I have it on PC as well as on Switch. So
PC, what?
Wow. I did not want to get it on PlayStation. Well, at the time when it came out, PS5 wasn't out yet, so I didn't want to get it on PS4. So I got it on PC. And then one day I was in Best Buy and I just happened to see they had a physical copy on a sale because it's normally $40. It was on sale for $22, so I had to snatch it up.
Oh yeah.
All right, so question for you guys tonight. Do you think that the acquisition of Dotemu will keep Focus Home Interactive a mainstay in retro gaming nostalgia, given that I went directly to their website and that was one of the things they talked about, retro gaming nostalgia. Do you guys think that this is going to keep Focus Home Interactive in that lane, or do you think they might get bold because they're trying to snatch up more studios and they'll step out of that lane?
Well, why not do both?
Why not both?
I mean, just keep it going. I mean, yeah, I like retro games, but again, just expand your company, see where it goes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Take a risk.
Take a risk.
I know it's hard for me to kind of think about because when I read this news article, I was trying to imagine that maybe they're trying to stay in competition with the other large publishers that are, snacks. Wow, now I'm tongue-tied. Snatching up developers as well.
Yeah.
I do notice they're both, I believe, French in origin, and so they're local to each other. I do appreciate the quote where they stated while retaining the editorial and strategic independence that made it successful. So I'm hoping that so long as Focus Home Interactive will allow Dotemu to keep doing what they're doing, I think we'll see some more retro games, some good quality stuff. Just as a side note, I'm glad that nothing changed, I think, for the upcoming release for Shredder's Revenge.
Yes, thank God.
Yes. So as long as that's not changing, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, because Corey and I are gonna brofest so hard on that when it comes out.
I can't wait. It's on my list.
You know what though? If they're gonna keep a focus on retro stuff, definitely stay with the Sega stuff because like the old Sega Genesis, Sega Master System stuff, that's a gold mine just waiting to be like re-released and redone and all that stuff. So like give me my Shinobi series.
Shinobi.
Yep.
Shinobi is the best.
Yep. Give me that. Leave Sonic alone. Let the fan creators like handle Sonic. Don't mess with that.
Sonic Mania was great.
Sonic Mania is probably my favorite game after Sonic CD.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's the only game I've liked since Sonic CD.
Exactly.
And shout out to the team for bringing back Oil Ocean. That's one of my favorite levels in Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
No.
Such a good one.
Okay, Oil Ocean was great, but do you know? I almost shed a tear when we got to freaking what's the freaking stage 2 of Sonic
Chemical Plant Zone. That is my favorite.
Yes. When I heard the music, I had to pause the game and put the controller down. I needed a moment to be alone. Oh my God.
I was so pumped when they brought that one back. I was like, yes.
I like
my
the way
absolute
they remixed
favorite level. I'm with
yeah,
you.
Yeah. The remixes up. Yeah, oh my God, man! Like that team needs to keep making Sonic games. They do.
Great. Now I need to play Sonic Mania.
Me too. Me too. Oh God, I can't believe I'm about to do this. I might buy it on the Switch, even though I already have it on 2 other consoles. See. Okay, the Switch
is a perfect Switch game.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I'm pretty sure it plays like heaven in like portable mode because my problem is like not every game. I don't feel like every game is comfortable for me to play on portable mode.
Definitely.
Yeah, and it is a good portable mode one. I mean, you're basically playing Game Gear again.
With a better battery life, thank God.
Oh yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts on the Dotemu acquisition or possibilities of what may happen in retro gaming because of this?
Oh, keep them coming.
All right. Cool. Cool. We can move on then. Here's our last news topic before we hit our big topic for the night. So, here we go. If you're wondering why I'm pausing so much, it's because I'm like notating timestamps. My bad. I'm trying this thing to make the production so much better for the show. All right. Our final news topic for tonight: Sony's acquisition of Crunchyroll is complete. Crunchyroll. Maybe I just need a teleprompter when I'm talking about this stuff. I have no idea. Sony's acquisition of Crunchyroll is complete. This news comes to us from pushsquare.com via Robert Ramsey. All right. While the deal for the Crunchyroll acquisition had reportedly been under the U.S. Justice Department review earlier this last year, there was a debate over whether Sony would actually complete its acquisition of the anime platform of Crunchyroll. The buyout was officially announced back in December of 2020, and now the Japanese giant has confirmed that the purchase is done and dusted around 9 months later. All right. Sony CEO Kenichiro Yoshida had this to say. We are very excited to welcome Crunchyroll to the Sony Group. Anime is a rapidly growing medium that enthralls and inspires emotion among audiences around the globe. The alignment of Crunchyroll and Funimation will enable us to get even closer to the creators and fans who are the heart of the anime community. We look forward to delivering even more outstanding entertainment that fills the world with emotion through anime. All right. Indeed.
Yes.
Sony now owns both Crunchyroll and Funimation. This is nuts. This is crazy because if I'm not mistaken, they are the only two platforms where you can actually find anime besides like going to like Netflix, Hulu and stuff like that. Like when you need a hub of anime, it was either Crunchyroll or Funimation. Which, by the way, like if you guys missed out on the 4 free months of Funimation that Sony had going on through that summer of games, like you guys missed out. And by saying when I say you guys missed out, I mean like yeah, I'm finally starting to pay $8 a month for it because the promos ended. But I don't care because I have access to all this anime. All right, getting back to the story though. Sony now owns both platforms, and that's why this deal was placed under some scrutiny. And of course, the U.S. Justice Department had to get involved, because I guess antitrust and all that stuff, There have been fears that Sony is monopolizing on the anime market, but Sony Pictures CEO Tony Vinciquerra, I always mess his name up because I messed his name up back when we talked about his announcement that the Crunchyroll thing was happening. Okay, Tony thinks that the acquisition makes sense for everyone involved. In a statement, he said, with Crunchyroll and Funimation, we are committed to creating the ultimate anime experience for fans and presenting a unique opportunity for our key partners, publishers, and the immensely talented creators to continue to deliver their masterful content to audiences around the world. For Sony, it's about unifying and subsequently strengthening its anime business. But it'll still be interesting to see how it all handles once all things anime, how Sony handles all things anime from this point on. All right, question, guys. Will the acquisition actually allow anime to reach broader audiences? Now that there's only one parent company controlling the two biggest anime streaming platforms, that being Crunchyroll and Funimation? Or do you think this might be a disaster waiting to happen?
I think it's a good move, personally, especially if you're an anime fan. Now it's like you get the best of both worlds because I was trying to choose between Crunchyroll or Funimation. Now I get to like enjoy both of them.
You know what? That brings up a good question. Are they going to keep the two platforms separate, and if they are they going to combine content? So like either or is there going to be like exclusively, like for example, like stuff that's produced by Funimation Studios, is that going to go to Funimation first and eventually hit Crunchyroll and vice versa? Well, Crunchyroll doesn't really have like its own like creation studio, I guess, for anime and stuff like that. But how's it work now? Because like it used to be all about exclusives. Like you could find this here and this there, and you had to figure out like which one you're going to pay the money for. But are they going to combine the content now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah,
y'all brain. My brain don't work like everybody else. It work a little.
We understand, Nelly. You're a weeaboo. You just want to get it wherever you can find it.
Pretty much.
Nothing wrong with that. I'm like an undercover weeb.
Well, I mean, like it makes sense from an access standpoint. Like it's nice that people will have better access to anime. Maybe people who aren't as familiar with it and all that good stuff. But just I'm always a little wary about just two major platforms all under one space. And like you said, LeRon, that's the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, do you think in a couple years they'll phase into just one company, or they're going to be? Because it doesn't make a lot of logical sense in my mind. Keep in mind, I'm not a business background, but why would they keep exclusives from one another?
Right.
Yeah, that's kind of like how Sirius and XM merged. It was like it's the same kind of deal. They both were offering the same content, but just a little bit different as satellite radio, and then they just kind of got together. So I can imagine this being exactly the same.
Okay, that makes logical sense. I mean,
but that's just me being practical.
Well, I have a sub to Funimation, and it's doing me pretty well. I don't watch it quite enough, but like when I do want to watch something, I know it's there. And hey, when Dragon Ball Super comes back on, I'll be able to go right to Funimation and watch the new episodes when they come on and stuff like that. So I'm happy. I'm happy for now. And like I said, I got the free trial for PlayStation 5. And then I can sign in anywhere on my tablet, my phone, whatever, and just watch it now. So I'm happy. All I will say this, like, to answer my own question, I will say that only time will tell at this point. We need to see exactly how Sony handles it. I mean, Sony does a good job with digital media. I mean, when it comes to like television and movie stuff. So I don't really see this going wrong. Like like with how some other platforms have handled things, of this nature and stuff like that. But like I said, time will tell. I don't really see it as a recipe for disaster, but I do see it as there's a possibility that things could go a little stale, and then people wind up just Funimation and Crunchyroll just wind up being something they complain about, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
One thing I have said, I think you guys have seen it in our team chat over at Boss Rush, is that the more options you have out there, the better things go and the better the diversity is. And yes, Misery X in the chat right now does bring up a pretty good point here. The rumor has it that it will be something that's included with PlayStation Plus, and we all know that Sony is trying to do something right now to have a little more curb appeal, for their platform. Considering that Microsoft, of course, has Game Pass.
I see. Mm-hmm.
So time will tell. Thanks for that comment there, Misery X, in the Twitter chat, Twitch chat. I'm sorry, Twitch chat. All right. So that's all of our news topics for this evening. To get the scoop on all the topics, links have been provided in our Twitch stream chat, which if you're seeing them live right now, just go back through the chat. You can check them all out if you missed anything. But in the meantime, we're gonna hit a question from the audience. I'm not gonna say who this person is. Like, some people may already know who. Some people may already know who posed this question if you were listening earlier before the show went live. But you know what? If not, we're just gonna say user X1 from Discord has tonight's question. All right, you guys ready for this question? I think it's a good one. All right. Tonight's question from the audience is, what's a beloved PlayStation franchise that you cannot get into? Let me repeat that. What is a beloved PlayStation franchise that you just cannot get into? You know what, Nellie? You have a pretty long and diverse PlayStation pedigree here at Crossroads. What is the one PlayStation franchise that everyone else loves, but you just can't get with it?
I might get some heat for this one.
Ooh, this is gonna be good.
Okay.
It's gonna be good.
I might get kicked off the team and everything for this.
Oh. She's about to say God of War.
Oh,
you
no,
got
she's
it.
not.
You got it.
No way.
Wow.
I heard it's around Greek mythology.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not mistaken, I don't really like mythology like that. So,
Have you played it?
Is it Greek mythology, or is it just all mythology?
all mythology for some art. Well, I shouldn't say all mythology because I think Robin Hood is mythology and I like him.
Norse
But
is
anyway.
nothing for me.
Yeah, what?
Said Norse mythology are nothing for me.
Which that's where 2018 God of War is at right now. Actually, it's in Norse mythology, even though it has call outs to like the Greek stuff from the original God of War storyline. Here's what I'll say. Nelly.
I love the God of War storylines.
Yeah. Here's what I'll say.
Yes.
If you did not play the original God of War because you know what? Everybody might jump on me next, because I will say this. I loved God of War until I did not love God of War. I got really sick really fast of the original God of War games, and so I never finished the story. I basically watched someone's Let's Play of God of War 3, so I knew how the story ended, but basically God of War was dead to me halfway through God of War 2. Now, that being said, the 2018 God of War, I was all about that. I was all about that. Like, I love that game. That's probably one of the best PlayStation games I played across the history of PlayStation. So I will say this though: if the old school God of War stuff didn't appeal to you, try the new one, because in all seriousness, the mythology stuff aside, it all takes part in Norse mythology and stuff like that. the whole father-son bond is what will keep you, riveted to the story. I'm serious. Like, it's
Okay.
it's crazy to see Kratos like actually having a heart. It's
I've seen
crazy.
this man rip off heads. So.
You're right.
but your feelings on God of War are pretty much similar to like everybody. I'm the same exact way. Like I got to God of War 3 and I was just like, oh, not again. But I ended up like I played it just because I loved the lore of it. You know, like I'm such a nerd for Greek mythology. So I that's the reason I ended up playing through it. But man, when the 2018 one came out, oh, did that bring me back?
I'm just gonna say it like this, and folks know how to find me online if they have thoughts about
Here we
it.
go.
But
Yep.
but honestly, by the time I got halfway through God of War 2 and I played the 2 PSP games, I was like, man, like I am tired of dealing with this little bitch Kratos. I'm really tired. Like all he, in my opinion, all he did in the original God of War storyline was bitch and whine about how everything did him wrong. And yeah, I get it. Like sometimes that's your cause. If everything's done you wrong, your cause is to make it right and stuff like that. But there's only so much I can take out of it, and I'm so glad Cory Barlog just scrapped that whole thing when 2018 God of War came out. Because I swear to God, if I started playing God of War 2018 and all he was doing, he was the same. All I was doing is bitching and moaning, I'd have already put the game down.
Yeah, and after playing Hades, Zagreus is just such a better protagonist.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
in so many friggin' ways, like every possible way.
This is
Great,
why
now I have to play Hades again.
I was back on Hades a couple of weeks ago. But this is why I always say, because Bayonetta is just a better version of God of War and Devil May Cry.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because I do like Bayonetta.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, some other witch girl whose her hair is her clothes. Yeah.
and a hot chick walking around in like this tight outfit. Yeah, I'm all for that. Who gets naked with the text though?
Like I said, it's Crossroads. We talk about everything here. Stephanie, what's a beloved PlayStation franchise that you cannot get into?
I love how you picked me next, and I swear, audience, that we did not discuss this in the pre-show, but I was going to say God of War. But it's for those reasons. It's the original God of War, and this big violent dude is just bitching and complaining, and I'm just and I love mythology. I really really love it, but it bothered the shit out of me. But I will say, again, I'm just referencing the Boss Rush bucket list, but a certain game made in 2018 made the list. And when I read, the father and son relationship, I'm like, okay, I might be willing to give this a try. I haven't done it yet, but I haven't gotten into the franchise thus far because of just the original. It just didn't do it for me. So,
man, with the way we're promoting God of War, the 2018 God of War, man, Sony needs to pay us.
Yeah, we should get a stipend for this shit.
They're gonna cut me out though.
We need to get the exclusive first look at God of War Ragnarok.
yeah.
Nellie, get on this. Tell your people. I know you have connects.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Dan, are we sticking with the theme of God of War, or are you going to take us to another territory?
No, I'll go in a little bit of a different direction. I get a few. Gran Turismo, I don't know. People love Gran Turismo, man. I just don't get it. If I want to play a game that puts me to sleep, it's Gran Turismo. And then Dragon Quest has been kind of exclusively on PlayStation for a few years, and man, those games are just so boring to me. I don't know what it is about it. Like, I love that genre of game, but Dragon Quest, it's so boring. So those are my two votes.
All right, so back when this game wasn't exclusive on PlayStation, you guys, this is really going to get me in hot water. back when this game wasn't exclusive on PlayStation, I really just could not get into it. I didn't see the draw of it and everything. Silent Hill.
That's a good one. I'm with you. I'm with you.
Silent Hill. Now there's a reason why though. Of course Resident Evil got hooks into me first. But here's my thing about Silent Hill. When it comes to scary games, I want my games to scare me, not fuck with my emotions. And that's what the bulk of most of the Silent Hill games did. Some of them did veer into more actiony types, like for example, like PT had a nice balance. If anyone ever had a chance to play PT, that's the one Hideo Kojima was trying to produce.
Yep.
It had a nice balance where it was playing with my emotions, but it was also scaring the shit out of me. But the other Silent Hill games, like there was literally no scares. It was all like the first game, it was all fog, and all of a sudden you loomed up on like these little impy dudes that remind me of Tonberries from Final Fantasy because they had the little shovel looking shivs, and all of a sudden it's like no. So yeah, I mean, I know it's not an actual beloved PlayStation franchise, but it was exclusive to only PlayStation for a long time, and that was out of all the games I can think about because I love me some Crash Bandicoot. I love of course I love like Jak and Daxter and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. Silent Hill's the one. I'm sorry guys. I know like everybody loves the horror games and stuff like that, but Silent Hill is just not it. But if I absolutely have to pick an actual Sony franchise, I'm probably gonna say Siphon Filter. Siphon Filter, in my opinion, was just a poor man's version of Metal Gear Solid and Splinter Cell, in my opinion.
But I respect what they did. But I'm kind of like with you.
I respect it too, but the tank controls were just ugh.
They sucked. But I mean, when Siphon Filter came out, I loved it because I just couldn't get enough of Metal Gear at that time. So
that is the one
cool
thing.
With Siphon Filter.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Like, that's the one thing when you need to get your fix of Metal Gear, but you didn't want to play through like the philosophical drama that was Metal Gear again. You played Siphon Filter, or if you had an Xbox, you played Splinter Cell.
Splinter Cell, yes, I love Splinter Cell so much.
Yeah. That was a good question, Lo. So thanks to whomever it was that actually asked that question, because that was amazing. If you guys don't understand why we're laughing so much, is because a member of our panel actually asked that question.
Gee, I wonder who it was.
But if you want your question read on the show, you can always tweet us or email us. Tweet us at ps_crossroads or email us at crossroadspspod crossroadspspod@gmail.com.
PSPod is Austin's email.
Yeah.
Send all your questions to Austin.
Yeah. Send them all. He loves that type of stuff. Or you can also
all angry questions.
or you can also hit us up on our Discord. The link has been provided in the live Twitch stream chat. So ask your questions there. We love to hear from you, and good chance like one of your questions will be answered here on the show tonight. All right, everybody, we're here. It's time for the big topic. It's time for the big topic. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Because I am ready, and it's been a while since I got preachy on Crossroads. But here it goes. Let's do this. I'm ready. All right. The tech industry, which includes the video game development property or whatever you want to call it, has a serious problem that goes by the name bro culture. If you don't know what bro culture is, here's an easy definition. Dudes being dudes. That sums up what bro culture is in a nutshell. All right. Here we go. If you've been paying attention over the past year, we've been seeing more and more signs that the problem not only has always been there since the beginning, the bro culture problem, but it doesn't seem to be getting any better. Here are a couple of greatest hits to warm up this segment of Crossroads, which I've titled bureaus of bad behavior. We're talking about the Activision lawsuit, Ubisoft harassment suit, and much more tonight. So, let's do this, guys. In 2018, Riot Games would see themselves come under scrutiny after accusations of a sexist work environment were brought up, including details about a lack of female employees within the company. There was also reports of rampant sexism happening in everyday conversation, and there were even open jokes about actual sexual harassment. If you're going to do it big, right?
Go ahead.
Riot Games would subsequently issue an open letter apology titled Our First Steps Forward. The actual statements from the apology included a message from the upper management to staff, which included current and past staff members, along with contractors and former contractors. So yeah, like, it didn't matter if you were an actual employee of the company. You could have been somebody that was on loan. It was all fair game to them. In the letter, though, it was stated that from Riot, we are sorry that Riot hasn't always been or wasn't the place that we promised you, and we're sorry it took so long for us to hear you. In layman's terms, basically, Riot's apology letter can be translated as to, we are sorry we ignored you and did nothing to address all of your complaints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right.
You hit the chicks already, right?
That's why I'm glad you ladies are on the show tonight. I'm so glad for this.
That was sarcasm before, so I just want to throw that out there. That's not a green light.
All right, but get this. In 2020, here's a really good one. In 2020, claims of a problematic work culture rife with sexual misconduct would land the popular gaming company Ubisoft in some serious hot water. This was a talking topic, I'll say that for sure. After facing a flood of accusations of sexual misconduct made against employees, Ubisoft issued a statement saying that it would investigate all claims. Fast forward to now, and we learned that in an anonymous survey, nearly 14,000 employees, an anonymous survey of nearly 14,000 employees, which was conducted by a third-party research firm, out of all that, 1 in 4 respondents said that they either witnessed or experienced workplace misconduct themselves in the past 2 years, and 1 in 5 of everyone asked said that they did not feel fully respected or safe in the work environment. The results also noted that women and non-binary employees witnessed or were more likely to experience or witness harassment than men.
That's a fucked up statistic.
Yeah, tell me about it. As a result, a host of Ubisoft executives and creative leaders have either been fired or stepped down from their current roles. I'm going to name some names here because most notably, these people included Tommy Francois, Maxime Belland, Ashraf Ismail, Giannis Molotond, and Ubisoft veteran Michel Ansel. Now, that name actually should send ripples through the entire gaming community because Ansel was one of the people who was responsible for the development of Beyond Good and Evil 2. And you know what? Guess what? That might explain why this game is kind of like falling off the face of the earth. Because Ansel departed in the midst of an ongoing investigation into his toxic management while supervising Beyond Good and Evil 2. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillermo. I really should put pronunciation in the notes. I'm sorry. I as a person who has a kind of interesting and weird name, I don't like bastardizing names because I don't like my name getting bastardized. So I'm sorry to this man for messing his name up. I'm sorry. But anyway, the Ubisoft CEO issued a letter and even spoke to the gaming community in Ubisoft Forward event. Remember that one? The live? where he talked to everybody? All right. He did all this to explain how the company hopes to begin to deal with these issues and help create a safer and better work environment at Ubisoft. Ubisoft, as of right now, is still dealing with legal proceedings from the harassment claims. They are still in the muck of it. And it doesn't look to be getting any better soon because, in all honesty, since that report, it has still come out from various insiders working at Ubisoft that the environment harassment, discrimination, misconduct, and all that stuff, it hasn't gotten better. It's, if anything, it's still going at the same pace, and maybe it's gotten worse. And you know what? I'll just take a quick sidebar here real quickly. Hey, I'm just reporting the news. I didn't make it. So be careful if you come into my mentions tonight. All right. But ultimately, this is all coming to a head, because here's why we are here tonight. And this is why I'm glad you, Stephanie, and you, Dan, are here, because now all those examples were just tips of the iceberg. The company behind games like Diablo, Warcraft, and Call of Duty is also under fire, as Activision Blizzard is now currently staring down their own sexual misconduct lawsuit. All right, this is one that we're going to have to unpack, so get ready. All right, a list of alleged offenses in the lawsuit are quite damning that have been placed against Activision Blizzard. We're going to start with a few of the sightings here. Female employees have been subjected to a workplace culture that was similar to a frat house, where male employees were often drunk or skipping work just to play games. Male workers would allegedly engage in what's called cube crawls, where they would get to work hungover and visit other female coworkers in their work areas to make lewd remarks. These errant employees have also reportedly harassed the women in the form of sexual comments on their bodies, issued rape jokes, and unwanted physical contact and groping. Okay. I'm ex-military. I was in the Navy, and even to me, that's disgusting. That
it is.
And I worked in a place that was a culture. All right, let me get back to this. Even supervisors and executives have allegedly engaged in similar behavior. The employees have been reported. To the HR department, but they were either met with inaction, or an erring executive was only given a verbal reprimand by other executives. In the suit, there's some different types of discriminatory practices in which the company will have to answer to. Here are a couple of the key points here from this lawsuit right now. Number one, women were given unequal pay, assigned to lower positions, and denied promotions or a higher rank. How fucked up is that?
In a way, I'm not even surprised, because it's such a male-dominated field. They would pull something like this. So
I'm glad you mentioned that, actually, because we're gonna talk about that in a little bit.
But I mean, the gender gap in pay isn't something that's predominantly in the gaming field or banking field or anything like that. I because of, for like completely ridiculous reasons, the pay gap exists, right? Like, sometimes women won't get hired because they're afraid that they'll get pregnant or need time off or things like that. Yeah. And that steers, them away from promotion. So it's already an unfair disadvantage when it comes to that, because that happens in every single field, and it's an issue that should be taken upon like anywhere else.
Yeah, every single sector of the jobs field. Yeah, that is true. But what really bugs me about it, though, is assigning them to lower or sub positions. That doesn't sit well with me, because at the end of the day, I've always had this practice that, like, if someone is capable of doing the exact same job I'm capable of doing, there's no reason why they should be held back. Like, the only thing they should be held back on is merit. And you know what I mean by when I say that, right? Are they doing the job the way they're supposed to? Does it look like they meet the qualifications, all that stuff? That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything else, based off of like looks or sex or whatever. Ugh. This is the tech industry. We're supposed to be better, right?
Supposedly.
All right. Key point number 2. Underqualified male employees got promoted first, and some were even paid more than women who did more work than that particular individual. Damn.
That rolls right up to key point one, like kind of goes together, unfortunately.
Same ballpark.
Yeah. The reason why they're key points though is because these are actual bullet points from the actual lawsuit. That's the only reason why I made them stand out key points. That's all. Because some of them do seem pretty similar, and I only picked the three that I thought were like the best ones to actually talk about. But key point number 3 is crazy. Pregnant employees and African American female employees were treated completely differently.
Yeah, good luck answering that one, Activision. Oh man.
Yeah.
That's
I feel like nowadays, like how when you hear like bosses or upper management say like, we have an open door policy, come talk to us about anything. I feel like I feel like whenever I hear that in the future, it's just gonna be cringe for me. I really do, because it says a lot about you and your company if you can't value an employee at a base level. Damn what's going on with them. Of course if they're pregnant, like pregnancy. I forgot what they say. It's pregnancy is a condition, not an illness. That's what I used to hear a lot in the corporate world, and for the most part, it is true. It's a condition, But 9 times out, I've seen pregnant women do stuff that like just are the average male, wouldn't do, and things like that and stuff like that. But for the simple fact, and we're not even going to talk about how African American female employees are treated. I mean.
Yeah, that's I'll tell you one thing about the pregnancy bullet portion was, I was pregnant. I worked right up until like my last day that I was expected to give birth, and I was freaking, and I probably shouldn't be doing it. I was like running up and down the halls. I mean, I probably couldn't like lift 80 pounds, but I was still doing everything a non-pregnant person could do. Maybe I couldn't squeeze through things like I could, but I just think it's asinine, all this.
It's ridiculous. Let's put it that way. And
the whole thing is sad.
Yeah. That's really one way to come at it. Let me add this, and then we can actually like do some talking about this. All right. At Activision Blizzard, the company's former chief technology officer, who also said to be making the hiring decisions based on applicants who. Let me rephrase this because I'm about to read it completely wrong. The chief technology officer was also pointed out to making hiring decisions based on applicants' looks and have been seen groping female employees at parties. 3 days after the lawsuit was filed, Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick released his own statement to employees in an email dated July 27th. He apologized for the company's early responses, calling them tone deaf, and promised to immediately implement remedial measures such as employee support, listening sessions, changes in personnel, fair hiring practices, and a change in in-game content. Remember when I just said just now, like how like whenever I hear an employee say, "Oh, we have an open door policy," this is what I'm talking about. Because this is what it sounds like. It sounds like stuff to placate people, and not so much like really get down to like the heart of the matter. Mike Morhaime, a Blizzard co-founder and former company president, released a statement on July 24th in the wake of the allegations. He left the company in 2019 after spending almost 3 decades at Blizzard. He said that he found the allegations to be difficult and disturbing, and was also ashamed about everything that had happened. In his statement, he apologized and said, "I realize that these are just words, but I want to acknowledge the women who had awful experiences. I hear you, I believe you, and I am sorry to have let you down." That's tone deaf. That's after the fact. What was he doing in 30 years when people were making these complaints? What was going on then?
Yeah, it's a total cop-out PR statement.
Too late.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too late. Not the damage is done.
Yep. Of course, we've heard about the walkout of Activision Blizzard employees that happened on 28th. We also heard that over 500 Ubisoft employees also threw in, with the the employees of Activision Blizzard for that, lending their support behind it. As a sign of more sweeping changes within Activision Blizzard, the company has announced the resignation of its president, J. Allen Brack, on August the 3rd. Also notable, Jesse Meshock has also left the company. Brack will be replaced by Jen O'Neill, a female executive VP of development, as well as Mike Ibarra, a former Xbox executive who had joined the company in 2019. I think they'll be taking on a joint position, so I guess they're co-presidents of the company. It doesn't really spell out like what they're doing as of yet, but as things are going, overall things are still developing as the lawsuit that was brought by the state of California goes on. It's recently come to light. Stephanie, I mentioned this earlier. It has recently come to light that Ben Kilgore, the former chief technology officer at the company, had been reportedly having an affair with his assistant. The reason why we know this is because there was recall conversations that Derek Ingalls, the person who replaced Kilgore, said about Kilgore's departure, concluding with a strange piece of advice, and this is a direct quote. Ingalls said, "Don't sleep with your assistant, but if you're going to sleep with your assistant, do not stop." All right. One last thing though. If that wasn't enough already on Activision Blizzard's plate, Francis Townsend, a former United States Homeland Security advisor who somehow made it into the video games industry as executive vice president for corporate affairs at Activision Blizzard. That's a mouthful, I know. She has stepped down from her position on the company's women's network after coming under intense scrutiny. Basically, she was one of the people that were naysaying when all the complaints were coming in.
Yeah.
It got so bad to the point where she had to basically shut down her whole Twitter account because she was getting into some vicious like Twitter fights with people as this stuff was happening. The tech industry isn't the only one affected by this type of bro culture. We see it all the time in manufacturing, finance, consulting, and energy industries. Jesus Christ, I'm just never going to stop being tongue-tied. These are all places known for their bro culture, but tech seems to be where all the news is coming from these days. In a Me Too world, it's more than embarrassing. Here it is. The denigration of women and people from other cultures has never been a good look. Never. As long as these practices keep happening, we will see more and more of this stuff being brought to light. And guess what? I love seeing these people's like feet, being hung over the fire. I do. So keep it coming. At Crossroads here, we support you. Like, keep up the good fight. Get these people out of these positions because they're just the worst. I don't really have a lot of questions on this topic tonight, but I will say this: keeping with tonight's topic, check out the August 2nd edition of the Boss Rush Banter. There, Lamont Reed asked the question, and I'm curious about what our panel thinks as well on this. Should the gaming community start boycotting companies that engage in bad behavior? Actually, let me say my piece real quickly, and then you guys have the floor. When it comes to situations like this, I get the immediate knee jerk reaction of saying, "Hey, we're no longer buying any of your guys' shit because you guys are shitty people," and stuff like that. But you have to remember one thing: these companies employ lots of people, like talented people who, I'm not saying most of them live paycheck to paycheck, but them being able to come to the job, means that they can keep the lights on, feed their kids and stuff like that. So I say the idea of the knee-jerk reaction to boycott, a company because of what it's doing, honestly hurts everybody that's not even involved with the stuff, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I was actually going to say that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Go ahead.
I've always been like an advocate for separating the art from the artist, but in this kind of situation, I'm actually having a really difficult time with the Activision Blizzard one Not that I really play Activision or Blizzard games anyway right now, so it's an easy decision for me to just not play them, even though Diablo is a little tempting. It's just like, yes, there's so many people that have worked on these games and developed them, but their product is already out there, right? It's already been done. And from what goes on from here on out, after knowing what has happened, I'm okay with just cutting the cord on them. Because if you look back on all the things that have come up, and I mean, there was even this conference where there was a panel of Blizzard employees, and this, female fan came up and she asked, why do all the women in this game look like they walked out of a Victoria's Secret catalog? Can we get one that looks actually normal? And the entire panel just laughed at
Just
her.
started laughing, yeah.
They just like, mind you, this is like 2010, and this girl is coming up in front of a room full of men, like to talk to a panel full of men about a pretty vulnerable question. So it already took a lot of bravery for her to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just got shut down, and they said, well, what catalog would you like her to walk out of? You know what I mean? Like, just being condescending and snippy. And like, if you kind of think a little bit deeper into this, like, you look at these characters in these games and there's like, a raccoon with boobs. Like, it's just like, so there had to have been a table discussing things like this. And that doesn't stray very far from being just a toxic work culture and bringing it down through the whole entire thing. So in my mind, like, it starts at the top, it starts at these ideas, and it just goes to show that there's really not as much female representation or voice in this company as there can be. And given all the allegations, plus what you can see looking back on it, there's no reason for me to even think about letting this company continue to get my money. That's
fair.
where I stand with it.
That's very fair. That's very fair.
I feel that if people want to boycott games, I say go for it. I just have a skeptical side where, I see games like Warcraft, Call of Duty, that there's still going to be such a huge portion of people that are going to buy these games. I'm not even quite sure how far reaching the news reaches to casual gamers, like the game, people that maybe don't check video game news as frequently. I just feel like those are just huge titles. I feel like they're still going to make their money. So I'm all for, if you want to boycott the game, but I honestly don't think it's going to make a dent unless we have like people in the millions that will not be buying it. And so I feel that what really needs to bring change is the fact that the state of California is suing Activision Blizzard. Like, there was a walkout, like actual things happening, that all of that social media shaming, which I normally don't condone otherwise. We need to shine that spotlight even brighter on them. And I'm hoping that Activision Blizzard is that straw that broke the camel's back, is that the old saying? Because it's super disappointing to see that Ubisoft so far hasn't really, this thing with Ubisoft hasn't gone anywhere yet.
Yeah.
Riot Games, like, that was just a stupid apology letter. Like,
Ubisoft was swept under the rug for so long.
Yeah, and for real.
Yep. That's what's most infuriating for me, is that I keep seeing all these stupid apology letters. I'm so sick of these fucking apology letters that I'm hoping this is the tipping point, which I got a little off topic to the question, but
okay.
No, that was a good point.
That was a wonderful point.
But to your point though, so like, the social media, like, shaming and like bringing the light towards it, how does this affect other companies, and how do companies stray away from bro culture? Because this is clearly, and a lot of people have come out and said this, that this isn't just Activision Blizzard.
Oh yeah.
This is just a normal thing in the tech company. And I mean, what I'm going to say is obvious, but it's like any heavily like male dominant industry, this bro culture is just a thing. I mean, I know a lot of people in banking, and I know a lot of people in Not a lot. I know a couple of people that work in like Hollywood and music and stuff, and it's the same exact thing. I mean, the Me Too movement happened because of like just this culture in movies and people wanting this to stay away. So it's like, what needs to be done to change?
Yeah, and you know what, Dan? Oh, I'm sorry, real quick, just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Pharmacy, I think nowadays is more a female-dominated workspace, but I'll even say there, I witnessed firsthand, and I'll obviously keep everything anonymous, where a male superior was joking about a female's breasts, and she just laughed and went along with it, like, yeah, I know you like those tits or whatever, and look at that, she got a manager's position. So it's kind of like, it's insidious, but it's there. Yeah.
You know what? I hadn't even thought about that when I was actually like getting this together for tonight. Sometimes it's encouraged because some people know it's a stepping stone to get to the next level, and and you know what? I'm never gonna knock anyone's hustle. Like if you find a way to get promoted and get to a certain place in the company where you want to be and stuff like that, I'm not gonna stop you. As long as it's not hurting other people. And in that particular instance, Stephanie, that's not hurting anybody. like obviously like that. That pharmacist, she knew what she was doing and she figured out a way to get to where she was going. But to answer to kind of like piggyback on some stuff that you guys said a few moments ago, though, I think one of the major things that's going to actually prompt the change is that when these class action lawsuits start working, when companies have to forfeit, like one third, 2/3 of their sales profit for however many fiscal years because they have to pay out, like penalties and all this stuff. I think that's when this stuff is actually going to take effect. And like we're gonna have I was gonna say chairman of the board and stuff like that, but you know what I mean, like personnel in the board of directors and stuff like that. We're gonna turn around and say, hey, look, we can't afford to lose money anymore because y'all are being asshats. And I don't care whether it's a man committing stupid behavior or if it's a woman committing stupid behavior. Ultimately, like money talks. And so when the people who turn around and sign your paycheck say, hey, stop fucking up, that's when we're going to see some changes and stuff like that. And not only going to say stop fucking up, they're going to say, if we hear of 1 ounce of it, you're done. You're done, and you might be facing a lawsuit because the one thing a lot of people are afraid of, they're not really afraid of being fired from their job. They're being afraid of taking the court from their job after they leave it and stuff like that. That's stuff that needs to be put into place for some of these things to change.
Yeah, it's like more action and less like writing an apology letter. Like actually do something about it rather than being like, oh, hey, I'm sorry this is happening to you. Talk to such and such, and it's like, what good is that gonna do?
All these apology letters is basically just PR moves. They're PR moves to see if they can get the public to like forget about this shit. Which is why I'm so glad, like, we have the walkouts. We have the people who are still doing, blowing the whistles and things like that. Keep that stuff in our face because just like in politics right now, like the moment people stop talking about it is the moment everybody immediately forgets about it, and the shit will still keep happening and things like that.
Yeah, and people are still talking about it. Have you guys heard that former Nintendo of America president Reggie speak about Activision Blizzard?
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen a statement yet.
What was the statement?
Is there an official statement out that we can read?
I have not found the official statement yet. I was trying to do like crazy research before the show. All I was able to find was just a YouTube explaining what he said, so I don't have it yet. But I just know that, it's important. I'm glad the conversation is happening and being asked of other either current or former titans in the industry. Reggie, I believe, to paraphrase, stated that it's all about making the policy crystal clear, having a no tolerance policy. I think the way he explained it was a first observance, to give them like a verbal warning, and on second occurrence they're terminated.
Yeah.
But he also said the part that hit most to me is that it starts with leadership. Leadership is ultimately responsible for cascading all of this down.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping we can find more from what he spoke to on that.
Yeah, if we're able to find it, we will definitely share it with our audience on our Twitter page, and we'll make sure the word gets out there. And if it comes up soon, we may even revisit it on a future episode of Crossroads. Anybody else have any final words on this?
No, I mean, I think the industry is always going to be male dominated, and that's what, that's kind of the worry behind it, right?
Oh, you
Like,
know what?
go ahead.
Since you're saying it's gonna be male dominated, okay, does this kind of seem like it's all going back to a conversation about how we need to teach our young men how to be?
Most likely.
I know, I know. It feels like kind of the worst thing to say because actually, I used to say this a lot when I was in the military, and I still believe it's true. All right, when it comes to common sense, when you're raising a child, I want to say up to the age of 16 or 17, it is your job as a parent to teach your child common sense. Once they become basically, whenever they become the age that any state allows you to buy cigarettes on your own, that's when they are responsible for common sense from that point on. So, some of this I will say that, like a lot of this definitely goes to upbringing, Now I get it because we just cashiered the president of the United States out of office. And apparently to a lot of testimonials from like close relatives and stuff, that type of behavior was actually taught, in the environment. And look where it got us, like. But I'm not trying to be all political. But what I am trying to say though is I do believe that for the most part, like parents need to be better, and like I get it, like there's a lot of parents now, like both parents are working and they're working backbreaking hours. Some parents are doing 14-hour shifts and barely seeing their kids and stuff like that. I understand, but at the same time, like when you have the quality time, especially with young men, because young men are so impressionable. Young boys and young men are so impressionable and stuff. They see one thing that a male figure in their life is doing, and they immediately want to copy it and stuff like that. It's incredible. So like if you have a son, and let's say your son is like in his 20s and 30s, and he's always getting fired from jobs for misconduct and stuff like that, you might want to self reflect real quickly if there may have been something you could have done to guide them along the way.
Yeah, I mean,
possibly.
we grew. So you think about people in these positions that are going through this, like we did grow up in a different era, right? Like we weren't as sensitive about, I mean, gay marriage wasn't like fully allowed across America until about 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Like how crazy is that? You know what I mean? And it's like these people probably have just these old school locker room mentalities and like the toxic male culture, right?
Or even worse, there's a part of society where some men still look at women and children as their property.
Yeah, or just like like they have to stay at home and just cook and clean and raise kids, and and that's more common than I'd like to think. Just knowing as many people as I do, I don't see it that often, but it's out there, and once you get these kind of people into a position of power at some of these like tech companies or any male dominated companies, that's where it just starts to get sour. So I don't know, better screening of people, like it just building a different culture. I don't know what it is, but the fact that these are always going to be male dominated industries, something has to change about it because just getting sued isn't enough right now.
All right. Anybody else have their input?
I have a couple things.
Go for
some
it.
might be not as popular.
Oh no! This is Crossroads. We love unpopular opinions here. Come, let us have
coming
it.
Fast and Furious. It's funny. Like I don't mind of a. I'm being very bare bones here. Like if statistically there just happen to be more males in a workplace than females, but it's more of how females are treated. Females are given equal opportunity for promotion to be hired. It won't really bother me as much. I know the correlation is not really there. Usually if it is a male dominated environment, there is the culture that's there, but I want to be able to make sure that's separate, right? Like I don't want to come off as like anti-male, or anything like that. Us women or minorities even, we're not, asking to be treated extra special. We're just asking to be treated the same. And I have a son. He's only 5.5, but I'm not going to raise him with the saying boys will be boys. I'm like, no, there's no excuse just because you have something between your legs. No, you're going to be held accountable for your behavior, whether as a male, female, non-binary, whatever. Everybody's treated with respect. And I'm hoping that, first of all, we all have to be the best role models that we can be. I think some of us get frustrated because, what can one person do? Like, I get frustrated that I can't really, do something about Activision Blizzard. But if all of us take small steps, we can make one giant leap or whatever. And then the last thing I want to touch on, I just don't want to forget what makes us so passionate about this is I remember being heartbroken about that woman that committed suicide in the story.
That was so hard to read.
Yes, it is severe. This is not playtime, and I want to keep that part fresh. I hate to say it, but like we need to honor her life and like all the other lives that, these aren't just a bunch of harmless jokes. There are serious consequences, and I hope to see that come through with the lawsuit.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I didn't mention it. But it's not because I omitted it or anything like that. Like, it was just one of those. It was just one of those topics out of the sea of topics that we were going through tonight. Like, it was one of those ones that I was like, it will definitely like suck up a lot of space. So that was the reason why I didn't. But no. But overall, you know what? I'm gonna give the last word to Zumi2009 out in the chat tonight. Zumi said, "Changing any toxic culture starts with the individual. Not being okay with that's how it's always been, and holding others accountable for their actions or words. That is the way to change all this stuff." You know what? And Stephanie, I knew exactly what you meant when you're saying you weren't trying to be anti-male. I think you were definitely trying to be anti-douchebag. And guess what? At Crossroads, we are always talking about punching douchebags in the face. So
yeah.
So that's our show for tonight. As always, we would like to thank everyone for tuning into Crossroads, the PlateStation podcast, as well as thank you, our guests, tonight for coming onto the show. Before we head out, though, here's how you can get connected with the crew. Stephanie, you have the honors. Start first. Plug yourself.
Oh, thank you. And thank you for having me on here. This was really important to me, this topic. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Klimov, KLIMOV as in Victor _author. I am a writer and copy editor for the Boss Rush writing team, so keep an eye out for my articles on there, including, this is a collaborative article. I did not write all of this. I cannot take credit for this. I know LeRon and Dan, you have some entries in there, the Boss Rush bucket list that gets published every Friday at 10 in the morning Eastern.
Yep. It was fun, by the way. I enjoyed it. Dan, you're up.
You can find me on Twitter at DCDM99, and I was going to talk about the website, but Stephanie got to it. So, Nellie, you're up.
By the way, Dan plays a pretty mean game of Mario Maker on Twitch.
I haven't streamed that in so long, but I'm actually going to be judging a Mario Maker competition soon, so I will be streaming all of that.
Oh snap! Oh snap! Yeah, I want to see it.
Yeah.
All right, Nellie, you're up.
All right, you can find me at Twitter at Planet Nellie. Nellie is spelled N3LLIE. You can also find me on Twitch at times under Brassface_87.
All right. And as always, you can find me at Exodus803, EXODUS803. That's my social media handles. That's my Twitch channels. That's my YouTube channels. I say channels as in I have multiple, but no. Twitch, YouTube, social media. That's my gamer tag. So you can find me all over there. Of course, Tuesday nights, Nellie, me, Austin, we always hold it down here at Crossroads PlateStation Podcast. And speaking of which, get to know another member of the Boss Rush Network by checking out Logan Corkin's recent 1v1 with Nick Liggett of LAN Party. Yes, but LAN Party is part of the Boss Rush Entertainment side of Boss Rush, so check them out. Also, as has already been mentioned, there is currently a curated list of games from Boss Rush contributors across the entire website, where everyone is advising everyone else on what games to play before they actually kick the bucket and die like these. So you might want to swing by the website and check it out, this little thing called the Boss Rush bucket list, which currently is on week 6, so check that out. And also in the August 6th edition of the Boss Rush banner, Charlie Norris wants to know if you use assist in gaming. I will say I've run a Game Shark every once in a while. Every once in a while. I mean, there are certain games, R-Type 3, that that I just can't beat on my own. And I need like I need like the invincibility code and stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah, check that out. But don't stop with any of my recommendations, because there's plenty of other shows and editorials available on the Boss Rush over at bossrush.net. Crossroads PlayStation Podcast also wants you to join the Boss Rush Network Discord, where there's tons of communities to find if you like to talk about things like games, entertainment, food, and much, much more. Don't forget, you can always chat with us and keep the conversation going by hitting us up on Twitter at ps_Crossroads to dish on more news, events, and topics while we get ready for the next installment of Crossroads. All right, everyone. This has been episode 48 of Crossroads PlayStation Podcast. The Boss Rush Games wants everyone to go out there, have a great night, play games, be better. Don't be a dickhead in the workplace. Don't do it. Don't do it. Be nice. Treat people the way they're supposed to be treated, unless they are dickheads. Then you know what to do at that point. All right, everyone. Have a great night, and we will be back here next week. Take care.
Bye.